Let's pause for a minute to talk about Anchor by Spotify. Anchor is an easy-to-use, one-stop shop to create and host your podcast. When we started making Sleeping with the Numbers, we used other hosts first that forced us to manually upload to Apple Music, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. But with Anchor, you simply upload to a single spot, and it distributes it automatically to all of these locations. But that isn't all. With Anchor, you can easily record, edit, and even add music directly from Spotify to your podcast to make it sound even better. So if you've been waiting around to create a podcast, wait no longer, because Anchor by Spotify makes it extremely easy to do. Anchor is completely free and can be used by downloading the mobile app on iOS or Android, or even right from their website, anchor.fm. Make an account today and get podcasting.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
All right, hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the Sleeping with the Numbers podcast. Just Dylan here today. Pat's out enjoying his life on a cruise in the Caribbean, living his life to his fullest, which he deserves. So he went on a good old vacation here for the holidays. So he'll be back for the next ones. But this week, it's just going to be you and me, which, I apologize about. No, I don't apologize. But either way, no Thursday matchup this week. Everything is going to be on Sunday except for a Monday Night Football game with the Steelers and Browns. Yikes. I personally do not know how to feel about that as a Steelers fan. As a football fan, good divisional matchup here at the end of the season and should be a pretty important game. I don't believe either one of those teams control their destiny in terms of going into the playoffs. Let me just confirm that. And that is accurate. Yeah, both of these guys, Steelers and Browns, not looking like they're going to be making the playoffs here. But 2 more weeks to determine it all, and we're going to get you through these matchups, run them through, and hopefully make you some money along the way. So before we start, I want to recap how things went last week. It was a little bit rough, which I'm sure quite a few of you have noticed. The fucking Chargers decided to lose to Houston. That screwed me a bit on some of the Wong teasers I did, but other than that, I was profitable in terms of my actual betting. But as far as my picks went, I was 8-7 on the money line. Pat 6-9. I was 7-8 on the spread. Pat 6-9 on the spread as well. So as far as just the picks going, they didn't do too well. But if you are following me on Action Network, we made again some money this week with these Wong teasers. This is pretty much the only thing I actually bet anymore just because of how well it's been doing. So this past week, we went 33-16 with the Wong teasers, putting you up, well, depending on what you bet, I do a unit each, and my units are $10. 13.76 units, or $137.60 in my case. Again, it's all profit. You cannot be mad at that. Over the last 30 days, I'm up 56.27 units, 109.40, with a return on investment of about 30.5%. So again, these Wong teasers are just kicking ass, and I'm going to continue doing them until the season ends. Again, if you are unsure of what a Wong teaser is, give it a good Google. Basically what it is, it's a teaser, but there's certain key numbers that you look for. So for favorites, you look for 7.5 to 8.5. For underdogs, you look for 1.5 to 3. There's a few other conditions that some people do. I just kind of go for it, bet them all. And then I actually started doing Sweetheart Wong teasers as well, which work for 10 or 10.5 for the favorite line, and then I believe 1.5 to 2.5 for underdog. So again, if you want to follow those Wong teasers, check me out on my Action Network. I am verified on there. It is Fantasy, PYANTASY. You'll see my little logo. I got some snakes wrapping around a football. It's kind of like the Python logo. Fantasy, PYANTASY. Python, Fantasy. I'm super creative. I really am. All right. Anyways, follow me on that. We're doing well. We're making money. Sadly, the football season is coming to an end, and we got to figure out what the hell we're doing afterwards. It's likely this may be a one show a week type deal where we might get into some hockey, NBA, March Madness coming up. We will definitely have an episode or multiple episodes on that, I would imagine. Also very into the UFC. So, we can get into that, get into some boxing. We're going to see where it takes us. This show is, of course, mainly focused on football. That's what I know. That's what I love. But I want to keep this show going and hopefully do it with some other things. I have some other friends who have more expertise in these other sports. I'm not a basketball guy at all, but I have a friend who is. So maybe we'll be bringing him in. And, again, we'll see where this goes. And hope you come with us, come along for the ride, because I don't know where we're going, but we're going. So like I said, no Thursday matchup. We're going to start off Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, Jacksonville taking on New England. New England, 15.5-point home favorites. No James Robinson here for Jacksonville, which blows. Not just for fantasy purposes, but for himself. He was finally getting the work he deserved without Urban Meyer. And it's a shame because let's take a look at his contract here. I'm not sure how much longer he has left on his contract, if he's going to be in Jacksonville next year or not. He has one more year. Man, he's still on this cheap contract. So only making $780,000 this year, $895 next year. That is looking like the minimum salary, which is a shame because he's incredibly talented. That torn Achilles is an injury that is difficult for any player to come back from, especially a running back. So if Cam Akers does it successfully, there's hope for James Robinson. He's still incredibly young, 23 years old. I hope he has a good future here. It might not be with Jacksonville because I don't think really anyone has a good future here at Jacksonville. It was just announced that they're going to keep their GM. It's just bad management from the top down. That's really what it comes down to. Either way, looking at this, Jags have only covered 4 times this season. New England has covered 9 times. This is a massive spread. I'm not sure if this is the biggest it's been against Jacksonville, but it's going to be insanely difficult to take it. Let's check out some of these other trends here. So the under is 6-0 in the Jags' last road games. So that is interesting. So the over-under is very small. It's at 41.5, but if they're not scoring, that makes sense. That's a pretty decent trend to follow. If you're into betting over-unders, it's not a bad one to look at. Jags are 0-6 in their past 6 games overall against the spread. So gross. 0-5 to cover in the last 5 following a loss. Oh, man. Yeah, that's rough for them. Looking at the New England side, the over is 4-0 for the Patriots in the last 4 games after allowing more than 250 yards in passing in the previous game. That's a very specific trend. Over is 5-0 in the Patriots in the last 5 home games. So you got 2 trends clashing against each other here. You have the Jags, whose under has hit 6 times on the road against a team with a winning record, and then 5-0 for the Patriots when they're at home. So I couldn't tell you what to do there. That's a difficult one. My money, if I'm forced to choose, twist my arm, I'm taking the under on this one. I don't know how Jacksonville scores. They're just a bad offense to begin with. Poor coaching. New England's defense is solid. New England's at home. They're not going to have to score a lot of points to win this game. So for me, even with that big spread, I think I take New England. Oh, man. New England both ways. I'm going to take them to win and cover. I feel like anytime I've taken Jacksonville to cover, it has just slapped me in the face and has not gone well at all. So I will not be doing that and playing in this game. They don't cover. Vegas has been pretty good at setting this line. So, that's what I'm going to take. New England to win, New England to cover in this matchup. Another divisional matchup here for the NFC East. Philly taking on Washington. I feel like this is an important game. Let's confirm. Let's see if it is in the NFC's most important games. Third most important, not too important. The NFC playoff picture is pretty set in stone here. It's really the AFC that still has yet to be determined. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 playoff spots have been determined for the NFC. Only 2 remain. And the teams that are still alive are the 49ers, the Eagles, the Vikings, the Falcons, the Saints somehow, and the Washington football team. So, decently important game here. Eagles can clinch a playoff spot here. So they have 2 cases where they can clinch a spot this week. That's if they win, Saints lose, and Vikings lose. They can also win, Vikings lose, Texans lose. That's an interesting one. I guess it's because it gives the 49ers another win. It'd be pretty bad to have 2 NFC East teams in the playoffs. I don't see that working out very well for them. Eagles have somewhat caught fire here, if you can call it that. They're playing poor teams, but whatever. Eagles are 4-point away favorites, over under of 46 points. Eagles 8-6-1 against the spread. Washington 5-9-1. And if Washington plays anything like they did against Dallas, I don't expect anything different here. That's really all it is. Under is 4-0 in the Eagles games. Under is 5-0 in the past 5 games after scoring less than 15 points in the previous game. Under is 4-0 for the Washington football team at home in the last 4 home games. So, take the under is kind of what the trends are leading to. Now, you can only do so much with that. But, if you believe in the trends, bet it. I don't know how Washington scores. We saw that against Dallas. The Eagles can score, but it somewhat feels similar to the previous matchup we just talked about, where I don't think New England needs a lot of points to win this game. I don't think Philly needs a lot of points to win this game either. So that's just my 2 cents here. I will be taking Philly to win and cover. Next matchup here, Tampa Bay taking on the Jets. Even a banged up Tampa Bay still looks good. They look better than they did when they were healthy playing New Orleans. I said it before the matchup against New Orleans, but Sean Payton has Tampa Bay's number. He has them figured out. It's always a messy game, and they always seem to at least cover. Jets, however, I don't think that'll happen here. So Tampa Bay is 8-7 against the spread on the season. Jets 5-10. So very, very close here. Tampa Bay is 13-point away favorites in this matchup, over under of 46 points. We got any key injuries here. Jamison Crowder is questionable. Who else we got here? Of course, we know Godwin's out for the season. Evans, I wouldn't bring him back this game. It's not worth hurting that even more. Fournette, same deal, out indefinitely. Giovanni Bernard out indefinitely with a hip injury. A lot of COVID issues here for the Jets, but it's only Wednesday, so still a lot of injury reports that come forward. It doesn't matter. I'm going to take Tampa to win. What's it, 11.5 as well? 13-point away favorites for Tampa. Home, they're 3-5 away to cover the spread. They better win this game. I think they win this game. So when they have been favored from -7 to -13, they're 6-4 overall, 4-2 at home, 2-2 away. They just completely demolished Carolina. I think Carolina's defense is better than the Jets. Ooh, do I think the Jets' offense is better than Carolina? Well, I don't want to say that. That sounds that's gross to say. So I don't want to say that. All right. So they covered against Carolina, 11.5. Yeah, Yeah, I'll take Tampa Bay to win and cover in this one as well. They'll get it done. They are still very much playing this game. They need to fight for that bye week. It seems to be the Packers to lose here. I'm not going to read off all of these cases, but there are 25 cases where they lose the bye week this week. The easiest is the Packers win. Yeah, so the easiest case is to lose this bye week. Packers win or Bucks lose. So they still have a chance. If you can call it that. Let's see how much of a chance. A 1% chance at the bye week. They could, they'll do their best. It's going to be the Packers bye week. It's a shame. Whatever. Tampa Bay to win and cover is my pick. Next, we got Miami traveling to Tennessee, take on the Titans. Miami is 8-6-1 against the spread. Tennessee 9-6. So got some conflicting trends going here. Tennessee, they're I don't know. They won against San Francisco. They really pulled that one out of their ass. Man, I don't know how they can get it done. Miami's defense has been looking better and better each week. Miami's offense is back to health with Waddle. Waddle had a great game. That's tough. Under is 4-0 in the Dolphins' last 4 road games. Under is 4-0. Last 4 games on grass. Some of these trends are just ridiculous. Under is 4-1 in the Titans' last 5 home games. So again, a lot of unders here. A lot of under streaks that are going on here. Looks like we might have some rain and wind. Cold game, 39.5 degrees Fahrenheit is the expectation in this one. Tennessee 3.5 point home favorites. I can't bring myself to bet on them, or to even just pick them. They are definitely making playoffs because they had such a hot start and they've just coasted on that. So Titans, number 2 in the AFC, 99% chance here at playoffs. They can probably clinch this week. They can. Easiest way to clinch is they get a win, and then they'll clinch. If they get a win, they clinch the division. They can also get at least a wild card if the Patriots and Chargers lose, or Patriots-Ravens lose, or Chargers-Ravens lose. So a lot of chances here. They're going to be in the playoffs is really what that means. It's a difficult one for me. I don't think I'm going to do it. I think Miami, they've looked good. They're on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game win streak. Let's go. Let's let them bring that into Tennessee. I'm going to take Miami to win and cover as the underdog. I just feel like they do not have that juice. Vegas taking on Indianapolis. Indianapolis, 4.5 point home favorites. They look good last week, getting the win, as I knew they would. So Indy 10-5 against the spread. Vegas 6-9, and I'm easily taking the exact same thing here. Indy to win, Indy to cover. Lucas Oil Stadium, I don't know why they're giving weather there. That's an indoor stadium. So give me Indy to win, Indy to cover. Vegas just keeps pulling games out of their ass. They should not. I don't know. I don't think they should have beat Denver. It's just when the other quarterback, it was just a mashup of terrible quarterbacks between the two of those. I didn't watch that game. I didn't want to watch that game, but they haven't scored over 20 points in their past 4 games. They scored 17, 16, 9, 15, and then they somehow beat Dallas with 36 on Thanksgiving. So, yeah, they're just randomly getting these wins. Indianapolis is the better team. Even when Jonathan Taylor had a down game, they still got it done. They have a lot of weapons there in Indianapolis. Pittman's getting that work back. I believe Zach Pascal didn't even play, but he's another guy that's talented. T.Y. Hilton came back to life for a game for whatever reason, so that's nice for them, for him. Like I said, Indy to win, Indy to cover is my thought on this game. I know I've been against Carson Wentz, but I don't think he's the reason that they're winning games. It could be any quarterback under center, honestly. I think their offensive line is just very talented. Jonathan Taylor is also, of course, extremely talented. Pittman, when he's not getting kicked out of games, can be pretty good, but he would be better with a better quarterback. And I'm sticking to those guns. I'm fine to agree and disagree. I'll bet on the Colts to win and stuff, but that doesn't mean I'm saying Carson Wentz is the reason why. I don't believe in him at all. And they're probably going to get exposed come playoff time. You need to win. You need to cover. Kansas City going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Bengals looking good. They win this game and they clinch the AFC North. I don't think I ever saw that coming, but good for them. I'd rather it be Joe Burrow and the crew than Cleveland. Is really what my takeaway from this is. So Kansas City 5-point away favorites, over under of 50. I believe that's probably the highest of the week. Currently completely split, 50-50 split for the public betting on this game against the spread. However, 75% of the money is on the Bengals. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. The Chiefs made easy work of the Steelers. I watched that slaughter live, and it was sad. Very, very sad to watch my team just get stomped into the dirt for Ben's most likely last season. So let's see here. Kansas City coming in hot. They are on a big win streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game win streak here. Their defense has really just dug their feet into the ground and held up this team. Even without Kelsey, Hill didn't even really do much. It was Pringle getting touchdowns. It didn't matter. They demolished Pittsburgh. I don't think that would be the case here. Cincinnati looks good. I think Kansas City probably still gets the win. I think they're fighting for. Yep, they're still fighting for the bye. They can clinch the bye this week if they win and the Titans lose. So Chiefs win, Dolphins win, and the Chiefs get the bye week. So they're still very much playing very, very hard. Let's see for the Bengals. The Bengals, like I said, if they win, they get the North. That's it. So that's the only thing they can clinch here if they get a win. So both teams looking for a win. I think Kansas City is going to get the win, but I will be taking Cincinnati to cover, just to kind of cover my own ass, because I can. It's very possible that Cincinnati can win this game as well. They've looked good, but see what happens. This is a good one and probably a great one for DFS lineups. Next matchup here: Giants going to take on the Bears in Chicago. So last week I was really against the Bears winning, and if you recall, that was because I said I don't like Justin Fields. They won because he didn't play. I'll say it. So my bet was for Justin Fields to lose, not the Bears. So I was right. You can't say I wasn't. It's on tape. It's recorded. Go back and listen to it. And I was right. I'm never wrong. No. Bears, I have no idea what to think about them. Nagy should be fired. They're saying he's planning as if he's going to be the coach next year. He can't be. He can't be. That's really what it comes down to. And if they do keep him, Chicago, I'm sorry, but you're going to have another year of mediocrity. Currently, the Giants are 6-9 to cover overall for the season. Chicago 5-10. Someone has to cover here. I don't know who it's going to be. And usually when I'm making my picks and it's something like this that could go easily either way, I generally pick the favorite to win and then the underdog to cover. Just because it kind of evens out. You lose a little bit of money just because of the way the odds are. But that's usually the right choice because it's difficult to pick a winner in a shitty matchup like this. The Giants have looked god-awful. Barkley has looked god-awful. He got injured yet again in the past game. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Chicago to win, Giants to cover. Atlanta traveling up to Buffalo. Ooh, I'm curious if there's some snow there. Looks like it's expected to snow, 13.6 mile per hour wind. Oh, have fun, Atlanta. Enjoy your dome while you can. So Atlanta 6-9 against the spread. Buffalo 8-6-1. Buffalo is 14.5-point home favorites in this matchup. That makes a pretty good amount of sense here. Atlanta has not looked great. Yeah, they beat Detroit. Woohoo! But Detroit got a win the week before that, so that's good. Shutting them down. A big old 20-16 win for them. Buffalo is a bit tougher of a matchup. Buffalo on a 2-game win streak after the loss to Tampa Bay. Beating Carolina, that doesn't really mean much, but beating New England, that is key. And we talked about that. That win puts them again in contention for the AFC East division. So the Bills, they got some clinching options here. If they at least get the wild card, if they win, Chargers lose, Raiders lose, Ravens lose. So a lot that can happen here. They clinch playoffs if Rams win, Bills win, or if Bills win, Broncos win, Colts win. So all of that sounds pretty likely here. So I'm thinking they're going to end up clinching playoffs this week. 97% chance at playoffs either way. They're making playoffs. What the question becomes is, do they make it as the divisional winner or a wild card? So that they're still very much playing this game. They're likely not going to be sitting any of their stars. So for fantasy championship week, that's what you want to hear. You want teams playing their heart out, giving it their all, because there is still something at stake. And there's something at stake for you if you're in your fantasy championship. You want them to be able to play, put up some points, and get you that title. So Bills here, they're pretty big spread here. So I'm curious how it's gone for them in the past. Let's take a look. So they are 14.5-point home favorites here. When they are 14 or minus 14 to minus 20.5-point favorites, they are 2-1-1, 2-0-1 at home, and 0-1 when they're away. They're at home. That's absolutely fine with me. I'll take them to win and to cover here. Atlanta ain't got the plums to beat Buffalo at home, especially during this time of year when it's a bit chilly. I know, because I've lived near there. It's awful. I hate it. Rams taking on Baltimore. Maybe Lamar Jackson comes back this game. I have no idea. All I know is in my big money fantasy league, I've gone 2 weeks without a quarterback because there's no more waivers, and my backup was Tyrod because I'm an idiot. And we've been playing without a quarterback for the past 2 weeks, and it really, really screwed us. I don't recommend that strategy at all. We were doing very well. We ended up first in the regular season for our fantasy team, and then we get the playoffs, and Lamar just fucks us. He's been not great all season, but then for this to happen, it's just bad. I've been saying it the past couple weeks, but why they're not... I mean, saying that he needs force back sounds bad, but when playoffs are within reach, I mean, they have a 31% chance, but still, they have a great chance at the final wild card spot. They need to keep fighting, and either that means his injury is worse than kind of being led on, or they feel like they can win these games without him. And Hundley looked good, and they lost, and then they lose Hundley because he gets put on the COVID list. So it has just been an absolute mess with COVID and everything. And
The Ravens are on a 4-game losing streak. They got really beat on by Cincinnati. And I don't think they win here. This is difficult for them. They're 3.5-point home underdogs, 46.5 point over under, 7-8 against the spread. Rams are 8-7, 6-2 when they're away. Baltimore 5-2 when they're at home. So again, there's always going to be these conflicting trends. You kind of just got to go with what you believe, and based on I really don't. Other than fantasy, I don't care who the quarterback is here. I hope it's Lamar so he can get me some damn points. But overall, I don't think it matters much. Their defense has not been able to shut anyone down. Sony Michel has been on fire. Cooper Kupp, as we all know, has been on fire. So it really seems like all things are pointing towards the Rams here. And that 3.5-point line, that feels like a gift. So I will be picking that, and I will be betting on that. So give me the Rams to win and the Rams to cover. I'm decently confident in this pick. Baltimore has just looked bad. I think this knocks them out if they lose. Let's find out. All right, it doesn't knock them out completely, but it knocks down their chances of playoffs from 31% to 8%. So, again, super important game here. And if they do lose, they then do not have a chance at winning the division. It would be all wild card. So, let's count the cases here. There are 25 cases for the Ravens to get knocked out of playoffs this week. Yikes. So, given that, I just think they're done. That's it for the season. Pack it up. Rams to win here. I'm curious if this is a pretty important game for them as well. I don't think they have a shot at... Yeah, they have less than 1% chance at the bye. But can they up their position this week? They can. They can go to the third highest divisional winner. If they win, the Jets win against the Buccaneers, so no. Cowboys beat the Cardinals and Packers beat the Vikings. There's a lot of different things that need to happen for them to clinch that, but either way, unlikely for them to get the bye, but they can at least jump up in the divisional winner rankings. Houston coming off a hot win against the Chargers, going to take on San Francisco. San Francisco coming in at 12.5-point home favorites. Ooh, that's a lot of points. Jimmy G is injured. It might be Trey Lance coming in. Keep an eye on the injury reports for that one. Houston on a 2-game win streak. Good for them. Good for them. San Francisco coming off a heartbreak against Tennessee last Thursday, barely losing that game. Oh, boy. All right, so both teams are 7-8 against the spread. Oh, man. San Francisco at home is 3-4. Houston away is 3-4. So, toss a coin here. 12.5 points is a lot in my mind with the way both teams have been playing. So, again, I'm going to kind of cop out here. I'm taking San Francisco to win. Houston to cover. San Francisco, I think they can clinch this week. They can. They can clinch playoffs if they win and the Panthers win. Ooh, Panthers beating the Saints. I don't know about that one. And then they can get the higher wild card spot if they win, Washington wins, and the Panthers win. All right, so maybe they don't clinch this week because I don't know if the Panthers win. Maybe if Taysom is still out, that gives them a much better chance. But, 77% chance of playoffs at the moment. Maybe they don't get it this week, but next week could be highly likely. Like we talked about earlier, only 2 spots left for the playoffs in the NFC. So for me, I'm taking San Francisco to win, Houston to cover. And a little bit of breaking news here. Bruce Arians tested positive for COVID, isolating at home. Harold Godwin will take over head coaching duties until he returns. So I don't know if that matters. Tom Brady, I think, can run this offense on his own. I don't think he needs a head coach doing things. Bruce, obviously, a great coach. He is a bit older, so, best of luck to him. I hope he comes out of this healthy. It's a scary thing for someone his age. Hopefully, it's just a false positive, and he's all good. Either way, staying at home, which is what all of us should be doing, at least for now. I know that's very difficult to do. But, hey, there's some good video games. You can watch some football at home, do some betting at home. Take it easy. Don't overexert yourself. Do what you need to do. Denver going to take on the Chargers. Chargers coming off that beating from Houston. That's a shame. 5.5-point home favorites for the Chargers. Over under 45 points. Oh boy. 69% of the bets are on the Chargers. 67% of the money for the spread. I tend to agree, but man, they are difficult to bet on. Oh boy. I don't want to say they're like the Steelers, but it's like games they should win, they just don't. And that's exactly what the Steelers do. So, Denver 7-8 against the spread. 3-4 when they're away. Chargers 4-3, 3-5 when they're at home. So they're having a hard time playing at home. Yikes. It's going to be another one of those where I'm going to take the Chargers to win, Broncos to cover. Drew Lock has just... Actually, you know what? If it's Drew Lock, I think I'm going to take the Chargers to cover. He's not good. They couldn't beat the Raiders. Yeah, so if it's Drew Lock, I'm taking Chargers to win and cover. If Teddy comes back, which I don't think he will, then maybe I'll take the Broncos to cover. But Broncos don't look good either. Looking at the playoff picture, pretty sure Broncos are out. Nope, they mathematically still have a less than 1% chance at the wild card. Chargers still have a shot, 32% chance at playoffs. Can they clinch this week? They cannot clinch this week, but they can lose spots this week. They can get knocked out of the playoffs this week. If they lose, the Dolphins win, and the Ravens win. They get knocked out of the playoffs, and that would just be heartbreak if that were to happen, because I think they're a very talented team. Justin Jackson looked great in Eckler's absence, even though they lost. So I don't know what the problem was there. If they are fully healthy, they should be able to take on the Broncos without problem, especially if Locke is starting. NFC South matchup, Carolina going to the Superdome to take on the Saints. Saints didn't look good without Taysom. They're still 7-point home favorites here. They're 7-8 against the spread. Carolina 5-10. So, maybe don't even bet this game. Carolina on a 5-game losing streak. New Orleans just lost their last game after coming off a good win. It was gross to watch, but a good win against Tampa Bay. So, man, Carolina is just a mess. Matt Rule really doesn't seem to know what he's doing. Swapping out quarterbacks left and right. I don't know what his problem is. I really don't. I kind of went on a rant in the last week's episode, but it's just pathetic, honestly. So given that, I'll take the Saints to win. 7 points is so much. They might not even score 7 points. If Taysom's back, I'll take them to win and cover. This sucks. I don't like picking this. This is just annoying. I don't think either team is good. Can they? I know I bet the Saints to not make playoffs. Let's see what their chances are at the moment. They have a 34% chance at making playoffs. Can they get knocked out this week? They can. So Saints can get knocked out of the playoffs this week. If they lose, the Eagles win and the Niners win. Those all sound possible. So they need to win here to stay alive in terms of playoffs and getting that last wild card spot. They cannot win their division, obviously, because of the Bucs. Wow, they have the same record as the Falcons. That's not good. All right. Man, NFC coming down to the wire. AFC even more so. There's just a lot more teams that can still make playoffs, and the divisions are not even set. So I'm picking. I definitely will not actually go and place money on this. New Orleans to win and cover. Arizona's a mess. They're going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Cowboys are 5.5-point home favorites after just wiping the floor with the Washington football team. Let's see here. Dallas 12-3 against the spread. Arizona 9-6. 5-2 at home for Dallas. 7-1 away for the Cards. Cards have been playing better away. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Their home games have been rough. Last 3 losses: Rams, Detroit, Colts. It's just a shame for them. Dallas on a 4-game win streak here. They'll get it done here at home. They have the best chance at competing with the Packers for the bye. They cannot clinch it this week. If they lose and the Packers win, they lose the bye week. If they just win, they'll be competing for it next week. That'll be fun. And again, that's what you want to see, especially if you're playing like DFS or anything, because it's difficult in these final weeks. The teams that are eliminated, they'll end up playing rookies or players that are kind of on the bubble, on the roster bubble, because they want to see what they have and if they want to keep them for next year. And then your starters, the guys who you would play in DFS, who you would play in fantasy. Also, your fantasy playoffs should not be going into week 18. Don't do that to yourself. Fix that. You can't fix it now, but fix it for next season. But if that does happen, this is what you want. You want these high-powered players. So the CD Lamb, the Zekes, the Aaron Rodgerses, Devontae Adams. You want all these guys to be playing as late as possible. Of course, there's always a risk for injury, which sucks, but you want that bye week. It's always a blessing to have that rest before you get into the thick of it. So for me, what was it, 5.5 points? I don't think the Cardinals can do it. Cardinals have already clinched playoffs. Wow. Yikes. I think they can lose. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. A lot of things can happen here. Rams win. They lose the division. Scratch all that. If the Rams lose, they'll be 11-5. If the Cardinals win, they'll be 11-5. So, again, fighting down to the wire for that divisional home field advantage. But I really don't see it happen. Dallas looks really, really good. So I'm going to take Dallas to win and cover. Detroit taking on Seattle. Seattle is 7-point home favorites. They are 7-8 against the spread. Detroit killing it against the spread because everyone's down on them, and then they end up winning games somehow. 10-5 against the spread. Fuck it, I'll take them to cover. Screw it, who cares? Yeah, I'll take Detroit to cover the +7, and the public agrees with me. 58% of the bets are on them to cover. 71% of the money is on them to cover. And I like both of that. I think the Seattle Seahawks are just, they're going the way of the Steelers. They're going downhill. They're already eliminated. I mean, as are the Lions. So this is a meaningless games in terms of playoff seeding. Maybe it's good for your fantasy team a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know what happens in this game. Oh, boy. Oh, you know what? I like the Lions. I got faith in them. I'll take them to win and cover. Fuck Seattle. Bunch of smelly birds. Then Sunday night, we have a divisional matchup. Minnesota taking on Green Bay. Green Bay, 6.5-point home favorites. And I'm going to say, I feel like Green Bay has been disrespected in terms of the spreads this season. All right, how often have they covered? They're 11-4 against the spread. Minnesota 8-7. I don't know why they're usually favored, but it's not by a lot. And they keep just doing work. And I don't get the odds makers deciding this. So they can clinch a bye with a win and a Cowboys loss. Like I just said, I think that Dallas is going to end up winning this, so it might go down to the wire in Week 18. But they get spot number 2 for first-round home field advantage if they just get a win here, which I expect them to do quite easily. So for me, Green Bay to win and cover. Again, that line just seems so small in my mind. Vikings, they have a 12% shot here at playoffs. They cannot clinch this week, but they can get eliminated with a loss. And if the Falcons beat the Bills, or if they lose and the Eagles beat Washington. So that second case really sounding like the more likely option. Packers look good. They're going to get that. I think they get the bye. They're on a 4-game win streak. Funny enough, their last loss was against Minnesota, just by a field goal. I understand that these divisional matchups are usually a bit closer than expected, but they're at home. And when they're at home, Green Bay covers the spread. Let's see here. They're 6-1 against the spread at home. Minnesota 5-3, good for them. 3-1 against their division is Green Bay. 2-2 against their division is Minnesota. 8-2 against the conference. 5-5 for Minnesota. Green Bay all the way. They're also 2-0 when they're at home and favored between 0.5 point and 6.5 points. So right on that line there. If it goes to 7, things get scary. No, it doesn't. They're just 3-1 when they're 7 or more. All right. Yep. So that's going to do it for me. I'm taking Green Bay to win. Green Bay to cover. That was an easy one for me. This one is not an easy one at all. Cleveland traveling to Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. Cleveland 3.5-point away favorites. Steelers 6-9 against the spread. Cleveland 7-8. Don't listen to me for this pick. I am very biased, but this is the type of game that the Steelers win. A meaningless game. It's just what we do. We like being underdogs for whatever reason. And then, we end up pulling it out of our ass. We didn't do it with Kansas City. Steelers still have a shot at playoffs. We can get eliminated this week if we lose. There's 4 cases we can get eliminated. All of them with a Steelers loss, a Chargers win, a Dolphins win, a Raiders win, or a Ravens win. Raiders and Ravens. Making sure I'm enunciating that better. So basically we lose and we're likely out of playoffs. Fun. Poor Ben. That has to be rough. Last year especially, they had such a good chance and they just blew it. What else can I say? Again, don't listen to me for this pick. I'm taking Pittsburgh to win and cover. I just have to believe in my team here. Let's see here. When the Steelers are underdogs between 0 and 6.5 points, they're 5-3 overall, 2-0 at home. When Cleveland is favored between 0.5 point and 6.5 points, they're 2-3 overall, 1-0 away. Let's do it, boys. Come on, one last hurrah. If we somehow make playoffs, that'll be incredible. I don't think so, though. So I'm taking Steelers to win and cover. Tail that at your own risk. And that's going to do it. If you want to follow the bets I am actually making, I'm actually putting money on, the ones I'm actually confident enough to bet, check out my Action Network. All of our links are in the comments. I'm at Fantasy Football on Action Network. Pat is at Pat Fox. The machine learning model, as you may have noticed, I did not announce it here, but it will be on Action Network at SWTN_ML_model. You can also find their picks on our website at sleepingwiththenumbers.com. And if you want to check us out, we're on Twitter. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want to give us a look. If you just want our bets, Action Network is the place to go. Give me a follow. These long teasers have been fantastic. I really can't say enough about them, and I'm going to be sad whenever the football season's over because my little secondary income's going to be gone. Either way, check us out. And if you want to do some prop betting, there's no easier way to do it than Monkey Knife Fight. You pick a matchup, you pick a player, you pick a game mode, you pick an over under for each player. You do fantasy points, receptions, passing yards, receiving yards, whatever you want to do. Monkey Knife Fight has it, and get your first deposit matched instantly up to $100 when you use our link below. You can also get a free month of BarkBox using our link. So our link is below. Sign up for BarkBox. If you don't know what BarkBox is, it is a monthly subscription for your dog. They get treats, toys, little costume. Sometimes there's a little hat or a shirt in there for your dog. It's fun to watch them open it. A lot of times opening the box is the most fun they get out of it, but there's fantastic high quality toys and treats that you can get for your pet. Pat does a super chewer option for his pup, Scout. She is a more aggressive chewer, and the toys are just made to last. And if you have a dog that's exactly the same, do it. Subscribe to the super chewer option. That will get you a bigger bang for your buck than if you're just buying toys from PetSmart or Target or something like that. Get something that lasts and that your pet will love, and they'll love you more for it. Check out our link below. Get your